If we are able to hit that 80, 85, 90% of Canadians up to date in their vaccinations, we'll have a much better winter with much less need for the kinds of restrictions and rules. One of the most important things to remember is COVID's not done with us yet. We might want to be done with it.
PM Trudeau was in Winnipeg and was asked if the restrictions on planes and trains would be loosened and whether or not ArriveCan would be dropped.
Est-ce qu'on envisage de relâcher les restrictions dans les avions, dans les trains, ArriveCan également?
Canada is one of the few places left in the world that has mask mandates still on trains and planes, and of course the ArriveCan app is a global first. Echoing the Federal Health Minister Duclos, Trudeau spoke about being up to date.
All want to ask ourselves whether we are up to date.
But only 60% of adult Canadians have received a third dose.
We can look forward to continuing the fight in the fall.
One of the best things we can do to prevent that wave, prevent the pressure on our healthcare systems, prevent provinces from having to take decisions around restrictions and mandates, is to ensure that everyone is up to date.
Trudeau repeatedly mentioned being up to date in conjunction with provinces having to make decisions around future restrictions and mandates.
If we are able to hit that 80, 85, 90% of Canadians up to date in their vaccinations, we'll have a much better winter with much less need for the kinds of restrictions and rules that were so problematic for everyone over the past years. But every step of the way, government's responsibility is to keep people safe, to prevent our healthcare systems from getting overwhelmed. And that's where individuals choosing to make sure they're up to date in their vaccinations with these new vaccines is going to help us all get through it and keep life open and free the way we want it to be.
He tied being up to date with possible restrictions and mandates this fall and winter 2022. The Trudeau government's plan was internally named Big Lift 2.0. That's right, Big Lift 2.0. The documents were released as part of the federal court case that seeks to challenge the constitutionality of the travel mandate ban that barred over 5 million Canadians from traveling for 8 months. Of course, much of the document remains redacted, but from what we can tell, the federal government has been game planning strategies for this coming fall and winter 2022 under the name Big Lift 2.0. The National Advisory Committee on Immunization, or NAZI, recently put out a statement.
The National Advisory Committee on Immunization, also known as NACI,
in their September 1st statement, they made it clear that a shorter interval between procedures is possible, as short as every 3 months, in other words, every 90 days. Now the government might be pushing, and Trudeau might be pushing for Big Lift 2.0. I know that I won't be complying. What will you be doing, brethren? 110% freedom every day, all the time, in every way. Hail, brethren! H for honor, A for accountability, I for integrity, and L for loyalty. Out of all this stuff to come, I think my favorite has been the cell phone battery metaphor. What's yours? Hail, brethren, and hail freedom!
protection is like a phone battery. It needs to be recharged from time to time.
H for honor, A for accountability, I for integrity, and L for loyalty. We are all like phone batteries. Hail, brethren, and hail freedom! My name is Rohan Kumar Paul. I live in Ottawa with my mother, wife, 5 children, and German Shepherd. I was Chief Technical Officer for a tech startup in Ottawa until I was fired in February for covering and participating in the Freedom Convoy. I need your help, brethren, to keep the war campaign doing what it's doing. We started out fighting the culture war as we saw an art form we loved descending into degeneracy. Comics have always been about heroism, but not so much these days. We decided to bring that back. I'm happy to announce the Vestige graphic novel series will be available for purchase at the end of this week. Get on the WCFreedom.com mailing list and support us in our defense of the multi-pronged war on culture, politics, and basic human decency. It's a 360-degree win, brethren, as you get epic historical fantasy graphic novels that make a great Christmas gift for the young and old. And you keep us, the war campaign, fighting for freedom. Honor, accountability, integrity, and loyalty. Old virtues that need to come back. Hail, brethren, and hail freedom!